Assalamu alaikum, everyone. And today I am pleased to say that I am joined with our honourable guest, Abdullah.
I am very honourable, thank you.
You are very honourable. How are you?
I'm all right, alhamdulillah. How are you?
Very well, mashallah.
Good.
So, how was your journey getting here today?
I do this journey every weekend anyway.
Every weekend.
Indoors, I hear it. So,
Yeah, alhamdulillah. So, anyway, tell us about you.
about me?
Tell us all about you, because you have a really interesting career. I obviously saw you on Citizen Khan, the famous Citizen Khan.
A long time ago.
Long time ago, and you were Shazia's husband, right?
Well, Shazia was Amjad's wife.
Oh, that's Amjad's wife, shall we say it like that?
Yeah.
Let's get it right.
Yeah.
So tell us about your career, because it's really interesting. As a Muslim male, how did you get into it? What do you do? I know you're an actor, you're a writer, you're a producer.
I think, yeah, kind of. Well, the thing with me, I'm very casual about things. I don't take myself too seriously. I know that things come and go. And I think that's something that I've learned growing up. So originally, I think I started doing hifz in the masjid. I was trying to become an imam at the start because I was a very confident person and I had no issues speaking to people, and I was quite an extrovert. And I was the first person in my masjid's hifz class. I was the first. Since then, there's been about 100 people do their hifz there.
So you were a hafiz?
No, I'm a failed hafiz. I'm a failed hafiz.
So how
But
many?
I was the first student.
But you must have done.
I got to 23, but it wasn't. I was very fast at learning it and very fast at forgetting it. But I was a bad kid. Not a bad kid. I was a cheeky kid, and I did a lot of dumb things. But I was never a bad kid. But I think they used to send me out to do Islamic speeches. You know, the imam would write a speech and I'd go perform it at these conventions and all this. And I used to come home with trophies and all sorts. And that's where I got my love of performing, because it was a performance. Because I was 10 years old, 11 years old. I didn't really know what I was saying, but I was performing it like I knew what I was saying. And it's the most attention I ever got, the most love and respect I ever got was doing that. So I knew I was good at it. And then when I went into high school, in drama and stuff, the teachers would be like, they would make a face that I still remember, I still get sometimes, which is kind of like, this guy's got something. And I think it went from there. So I knew I was a performer. And then I decided that I did a theatre play when I was in year 10 for the school, Shakespeare play. And everyone was buzzing over it. Oh my God, he's so good. And I love that feeling. And it's a natural human feeling to want to be loved and to enjoy being loved. And it went from there. Then I secretly did it in college. And I got the highest mark in the country. I still remember in my practical exam, playing a 60 or 70-year-old man, a white man from London. I played that character as a 16-year-old boy. And because of that, I got an agent.
I did. Thank you.
Oh, jokes. And then, I got an agent in there. And then it just kicked off from there. I did so many things. I've been through so many weird experiences.
In a way, really, you're a natural performer, so you didn't have to really put a lot of effort into the way that you naturally did things. So that just took you places, right?
I wouldn't say I didn't put effort in. What I would say is I enjoyed it so much. It did feel like I had to put effort in because I enjoyed doing it. It's like kids that become footballers. They love playing football. And so it's not like a job. It's just...
So, okay, now then, what did your family say about, I'm really interested to know, because I'm very nosy. It's not a normal career pathway what a young Muslim male would perhaps take.
Yeah.
What did they say when you said, right, I'm going to Citizen Khan, or I'm going to do this?
Well, I'm from a very strict Muslim family. None of my siblings would ever even think of doing it. We're one of those families, if music comes on, TV's off, any adverts, we used to have teletext on back in the day, mute it, national anthems. When I watch a football game, turn the volume off. So very religious family, and they're always learning more about the deen, and that was our family's main thing, the deen, the religion. It doesn't matter what anyone says, you stick to your principles and your religion. And then there was me, the black sheep of the family.
Boundaries.
Really pushing boundaries. And to be honest, I lost my mum when I was very young, and I think the whole family kind of felt the absence of my mother, and everyone kind of went and was like focused on, what's going on. And I kind of got away with it because of that.
And how old were you when your mum passed away?
Just turned 15. So that was tough But I think after that, I kind of got a little bit more freedom and space, because they were kind of like, when people lose their parents, they could turn to drugs, they could turn to violence, and I turned to acting. And it was actually saved me at that time. I did turn a bit of an idiot, but the acting kind of kept me focused on something. But it went wrong. It went wrong because when I was 16, at that point, I was told that you've got what it takes. You can be an actor. So I thought, right, how do I start? Because you don't know, where am I supposed to start? So I went and I found an audition, right, on the internet, on Google, and it was for a role for a young Muslim guy who's falsely accused of being part of some sort of terrorist plot, and is taken to a black site. So I went on an audition for it. When I went for the audition, they were like, there's just a group of people, and they're like, can you take your top off so we can have a look at what you look like without a top? I was like, yeah, all right. I took my top off. They're like, can you take your pants off as well so we can see, because when you're tortured, you're not going to have much on, so we just want to see how it would look on camera. So, all right, I'm 16, whatever. They'd like to offer you the part. I said, oh, amazing. They go, is $1,000 all right? I was like, what? They were £1,000, is that all right? I was like, yeah. At that time, I'm from such a poor family, I never had money before. £1,000 was like, wow. When looking back now, it should have been a lot more. Anyway, so I said, yeah, fine, £1,000. And I went home, I said to my dad, oh, it's amazing, I'm going to be an actor, blah, 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 blah. And before I went for that audition, my dad said to me, if you don't get this role, you're never talking about acting to me again. So it was kind of like, yes, I've done it. And my dad said, who are these people? I was like, why do you ask so many questions? I'm a man now, let me do it. I'm 16. And my dad still doesn't know this, but what ended up happening was they did take me to a black site, but they did beat me. They did strip me on my clothes, and they did waterboard me. So it ended up being something that should have put me off acting, because they completely took advantage of me in terms of violence. I don't know whether it was just their passion project, or if they were violent, or what. I don't know. I still don't understand why they did that. They didn't make a film out of it, but everything they were doing to me was illegal. It should never have been stripping a 16-year-old kid of his clothes. It should never have been waterboarding me. Genuine waterboarding. I was really hit, punched, kicked, slapped, all of those things. I was treated horribly. I got ill, lost tons of weight. That was my first acting experience, but then again, it's not really acting. But that's where I came from. And when I came out of that situation, that's when I thought, right, I better get into comedy now.
So, that's really saddened me hearing that, because the backstory about your mum passing away at 15 and then a year later you're finding yourself in that position.
Exactly.
Did you speak to anyone about what happened to you, like in terms of your family, siblings, or your father? And also the question I wanted to ask is that, as a minor, was there no expectancy from the company for you to be accompanied by an adult?
This is what I mean. It was a cowboy job, wasn't it?
Right.
It was a dream sold to me. I remember when they were waterboarding, like, I couldn't breathe, felt like I was drowning. And the director, she was a little short woman. Short women are very aggressive. And
we had that conversation earlier on.
She whispered in my ear, she goes, you're going to be a star, you're going to be a star. And I remember she whispered something in my ear. I can't remember the name. She said something like, Abdullah, that did 1 minute, 30 seconds. We could do more than that. I was thinking, I was dying, I remember when I was actually getting waterboarded.
I'm looking at you because there's somebody else sat on the side, a little short person.
Yeah, but when I was actually getting waterboarded, I remember thinking, I think I'm dying. I remember thinking that at the time, and it's mad how they play me psychologically, because I think for years after that, I thought I still did a really good movie and I was acting, but I wasn't. Now, as an adult, I think, and the thing is, my sister raised me after my mum passed away. Allah bless her, she's done a lot for me. Both my sisters. Brothers did a lot for me as well, my dad, but my sister was kind of that mother figure for me. When I told them, it killed them, because they were completely against me going, they go, why are you going on your own? But I was such a hard-headed, kind of independent person after my mum passed away. I was like, no, this is what I'm going to do. And they couldn't do anything about it. My dad, he went to some very hardship after my mum passed away. He died every night. I used to be in the house alone with him because my sisters kind of got married and went, and at night, hearing him wailing at night, it was difficult for him. So, and he still doesn't know. He doesn't watch podcasts, but my sisters, eventually found out and stuff, and they, it hurt them. especially because I spoke about this before a long time ago. I weren't allowed to. My agent told me not to pursue a kind of a suing thing because it said they'll cancel you, which I've kind of have been now. But I remember the comments last time I spoke about this were like, "What's wrong with his family? You know, how could they let him do that? They've, you know, betrayed his trust." No, if they knew me, if you can't believe my...
No, actually, when I'm listening to you, so from my experience, I've dealt with a lot of grief and loss and people who have had losses in their life and significant losses like your mother. And what often happens is there's a cycle of emotion that happens. So, you know, from anger, upset, anger, or either so different emotions, and it goes round and round, and it's that oscillation of thoughts.
Yeah.
And a young boy at the age of 15 losing his mom, anything can happen. So you've gone out there and lashed out in a way.
But I also think I'm quite smart in that way, and I think I knew my mum had passed away. I've got an excuse to do a lot of messed up stuff, and I think I used that. Being completely honest with myself, at the time, I knew what people were saying. It was hard because a lot of people, even certain family members, they did see me as a little weird, mashed up kid, even though we're doing anything that wrong. And there were people that stuck their nose up on me. And I remember my mum telling me stories that people used to do that to her. And I think that kind of inspired me a bit that I'm not going to have people thinking of me in that way. I'm going to make those same people, you know, that are sticking their nose up on me, they come to me. I'd say, oh, yeah, you know, I know him, yeah, he's my friend, you know, like that. And it happened. And I didn't feel the need to say to him, remember when you used to treat me like that? I didn't. I just sat back and thought, this is what happens. Look how everything turns upside down.
There'll be people watching this, and young boys in particular, and I think you are a good role model to young boys.
I don't like that word.
Okay.
Because I don't think I am. And the reason why is, once you become a role model, the responsibility weighs heavy. And I think I still make mistakes every single day. I try really hard not to make my sins public. I sin all the time, obviously, and I make mistakes that someone like me shouldn't make, but I do my best not to do it publicly because they are so badly influenced by these social media influences and stuff. I don't want to be that.
So, okay, let's bring that point back again, right? So when people, it's something what my daughter once said, and I'm glad I was responded. So somebody said, you're a real role model. My daughter's 29 and she's a makeup artist and she's been on social media for a very, very long time. And she got comments from mums to say that our daughters look up to you and she's, you know, you're the role model. And she sat back and she reflected and she wrote this whole page to say, as much as I feel honoured, and it's a real big title you've given me, and all these young people, she said, I don't think you should see me as a role model. Look at the Prophet's wives as role models. She says, because when you're looking at social media, like you said, we sin as Muslims, and people are very quick to point out the sins. If you do that slight thing, just even a small thing, you're going to get annihilated for it. And I think that's, unfortunately, the world of social media. So my response always to that is, whether it's you, I, or whoever, is that if Allah wanted to make us sin-free, we would have been angels and not humans. And we are created to sin. And God likes people who sin and come back to him.
Ask for forgiveness.
So I think, let's just say out of the bad bunch that we have, we could say that there are some good people that people can look up to. And you're not perfect. Neither am I, anyone else. Nobody's perfect. But from your journey and your experiences, and you're a father, alhamdulillah, you've got children, and I am sure you're a great father and a husband. So we would lost people to look at the good things or your experiences, and I think that there's nothing wrong.
I think your daughter's done it more from an intellectual and you know, from a good place, whereas mine is more cowardly. I'm being honest with you, mine's more like,
what?
I'm going to get punished for my sins. I'm asking for forgiveness, right? Like,
well, we all.
I know, but I'm so optimistic that Allah will forgive me. You know, my mentality that Allah will forgive me for that. What I feel like it's little Harris or little Umar or little start find out what those sins take. He does it, and he's respected, and he's loved. Then I'll do it. I don't think I fear that forgiveness is not for me because I'm influencing people in a bad way. I'll give you a good example. I used to do this character called Sunera the Mua,
No, what's that?
Samira the Mua, the makeup artist. So I used to have a Snapchat filter with the long hair and the girl. I used, "Hi, how's it going? Hi, oh my God." You know, I used to do it and people loved it. And it would, if I made one, it went viral. Guaranteed, you know, everyone's, and then people, and it was nice for me because people stopped recognizing me from Citizen Khan. And they started saying, "Oh, you're that guy, TikTok guy, you're Instagram." And I like that because that's mine. But then I thought, I don't want my son growing up, start putting a wig on and doing that. I don't want someone else's kid doing that. This is, and it was hard. I'm not gonna lie, it's hard for me to stop doing it because I love doing the character. Because there's not many of my own things that I find funny, but I love doing it. I thought she was hilarious, but and look how I'm talking about it. It's not real, it's me. And I stopped doing it a few years ago. I thought, oh, my kids can never watch this. I delete it.
I'm going to have to. Is it you deleted it all now?
I think there's some still out there because I'm just lazy, but that was, you know, little things like that. They matter. And when I became an actor, I thought, I want to be famous. I want to be a famous actor. I want people to say, yes, he's made it. Now, becoming a father and having kids, not what I want.
What does, you know, when I often hear people say, like, I love saying, what does that mean?
At the time, I just wanted people to like me and know me and want to be associated with me, wanted to be around me. I wanted people to know who I am.
So is there, or was there at the time, a void within yourself?
Yeah. So this is what I was saying before.
What is that void then?
So, sorry, this is really nice.
All right, should we pause for 2 seconds?
No, carry on. This is good. I'm enjoying this conversation. So, I think for me at the time was...
Do you want me to get you a glass for you?
No, it's lovely. I'm in for a bottle, but it's just give me a bit of heartburn. Just because I'm drunk and make quick. But you know what it is? Like I said, there were people who didn't want to be associated with me, even family members. Because I was poor, I used to wear like, to weddings, I used to have to wear like my brother-in-law's suits, and they used to be, and I remember someone saying, "You look like a clown," an elder person. No one wanted to sit at the table with me, and there was a big part of that where people didn't want to be associated with me. I was a proper black sheep, and
that's just because of you go through poverty.
This is because when my mum passed away, and my dad went to Pakistan to look after his dad, who was dying. We went for a year, and I had to move in with my sister, who's just got married. Now, can you imagine? The sister just got married and moved to her own place, and she wanted to, but it felt like everyone said, "Oh my God, she's had to take a little brother with her to a newly married home," and and I felt that never for my brother-in-law or my sister, never. I never felt more welcome. I never felt more welcome. I felt loved. I felt respected. I felt cared for, but it's not my house. Do you know what I mean? It wasn't my home, and I felt like I was a burden, and I felt like all the people around were looking at me like, a bit like Harry Potter, living in the cupboard of the stairs. I felt like that, and I remember thinking, I'm going to show all of these people that I'm going to be somebody.
So very resilient, I suppose, as a human being.
I think I was at that time. I think I've softened big time. I think I've softened. Everything changes. The thing is goals change all the time. And I remember being 13, 14, and my two dreams were to become an actor, in the form of my class grade, and to become a dad. I said to them, I'll be a dad by 22. I wasn't ready. But when I became a dad, I'm like, I've done it. It's weird. I felt like I've accomplished. And then suddenly, like, how am I going to look after them? Because I was such a carefree person. I knew acting was difficult because I knew I could get a job for 3 weeks and then not work for 9 months. You can't do that when you've got kids. So I had to open up, and I put my pride in a bag and threw it in the bin. Didn't care anymore. I was doing Citizen Khan, right? And I thought, right, I'm married, I'm expecting a child. I thought I can't rely on just acting anymore. Because once you rely on acting, then I'm going to start taking jobs that go against my own principles and morals. I thought I can't do that. You know what I did? I worked in the airport as a security in the airport where people were coming and saying, "Oh my God, I'm Jeffrey Silverdown, can we get a picture?" I'm like, yeah. They were like, "All right." I go, "Right, can you put your arms up now?" It was like, weird. But I didn't care. People saying, oh my God, your career died. What are you doing working here? I didn't care because at that time, I hadn't done anything citizen card. But then I was thinking, citizen card, stop. How am I going to put food in them? I've got a house. I've got, child. What want to do? And I put it away. And then it came the hard bit where citizen card finished, and the next role was presented to me, and it was a role that as a Muslim, I could not even find an excuse to do that role. It would have made me. I would have been a different level. 100%. I'm 100% sure of that. And it was a huge opportunity. People would kill for it, but I couldn't do it. I couldn't physically, and it's because of my upbringing. I couldn't do it. I couldn't have people going to my dad saying, "What's your son doing on TV?" I couldn't.
So is it something that goes against your morals as a Muslim?
As a Muslim as well, and also, if I imagine I'd gone away from Islam, astaghfirullah, I was an atheist now, I still wouldn't do it because there would be a huge shame on my parents, on my community, on my masjid, on all of that. And there's people that would risk everything for fame and for money. And at that point, I realized who I was. It was a defining moment for me that I realized that, you know what, I'm not gonna sell myself to that extent.
So what I'm hearing is there's something that, Abdullah, first of all, your name, the power of your name, like a person of God, and then the ground, so the foundations that have been laid for you from your parents, whether it's, I always say that the educator for a child is a mother, and the foundations that she's laid for you have been so strong that even whether you're 17, 18, 19, however old, whenever you found yourself in life, it just kept you grounded and taught you. So you could have been a millionaire, for instance, but you wasn't yourself, who you are, your faith, for that money. And I have huge amount of respect for that. I know.
There's another, yeah.
No, alhamdulillah, mashallah, tabarakallah, Allahumma barik. But that's the truth. You have to have respect for people who do not sell, themselves for money, because people do that all the time. All the time.
And also, my sisters defended me through all the stupid things that I did, even on TV. People would still say stuff to them, and they were fierce defenders of mine.
Shout out to
my sisters. Yeah, they would defend me to and people would have gone for him. So I said, "Oh, look at him," and I don't want anyone to go do that. And that's another part of it. So what I had to do was I had to find another way of providing for my family, bringing two sides of my life together: comedy or acting and my religion. How would I do that? And it came together as Muslim comedy.
So I just want to take it back to something that you said. So you were on Citizen Car.
Yeah.
This big profile figure now, I'm judged, everyone knows him, he likes him, and then you've got...
I don't know about but everyone knew. Yeah, a lot of people...
I think so, lots of people like you.
A lot of people.
And then, you're always going to get that. In the public eye, you can do nothing like to nobody, but people are going to dislike you just...
My wife, before she knew me...
She disliked you?
She thought I was an arrogant thing. She never met me. Just because I was on TV, she thought, he must be arrogant, he must be this, he must be that. And the thing is, a lot of people knew who my family were. So within the family friend circle and everything, and because we're from a similar area in Pakistan, they knew that my family was very religious, and people were like, no, they used to lecture everyone else, you give dawah and so, and look at their own son. There was a lot of that. But people thought that and stuff. But I think I'm one of those people that, that's the worst thing anyone could say to me. So someone comes up to me and says, "You're a bad actor." Okay. So someone comes to a terrible comedian. Okay. So someone comes up to me and say, "You're arrogant." That hurts me because I want to be the most. I want to replicate my mum's reputation. Everyone talks about your mum was the nicest person. She went through so much hardship, and she never said, she always did the right thing, and she was the kindest person. I want to be like that. I don't want to be someone who's the opposite of my mum is, and I think that's a big part of it.
That's really lovely to hear, but you do know that you are going to get people who are going to think you are arrogant or they're going to think, but that's their perception,
and
unless they know you personally. And I would say, my advice would be, Don't let it hurt you.
I know, I try. I try.
That's people as individuals that I know for being in social media for the time, at the length of time, I could give you like, reams of advice, and, people are going to always say something because they want to really get you, but they don't know you in a personal level, so it's irrespective of what they think, and it is.
It's one of the downsides of becoming a public figure to an extent. You judge the things not true, and I tell you, when I did Sitting in Han, I got a text message to someone who I grew up with, and it was a text message that I'd been sent around that he had forwarded on to me, blindly just forwarded. He didn't even know he was sending it to me. He just sent it to all his contacts, and it was like, "You don't like Sitting in Han, blah blah." All right, fine. But then it said, "None of them are Muslim. None of the actors are Muslim. The guy that plays Amjad is a Zionist." I remember it said. And we went to the fasting together. Oh, we did all this together. And he said, that's what he said. He said, and I messaged him back. I said, why did you say that? He said, oh, I just forwarded it. I didn't really read it. So, what are you doing? And that was annoying. Like a lot of people assumed I was a non-Muslim. A lot of people thought I was a white guy. They didn't look at my name. That was difficult. Obviously, there were things in Citizen Khan that people found offensive. Looking back, even me, not nothing I did, but things that happened in the show. I could see why, and that's fine. But then, because of that, people started assuming I was someone that I wasn't. And that hurt me because Islam was such a big part of me and my identity that when people were saying that I was selling out the religion and stuff, that was particularly hard.
So, going back and reflecting, in terms of comedy, do you think there is space for comedy within as being Muslim?
So, I've been doing Muslim comedy exclusively for 9 years. And I'd like to think that I'm one of the pioneers for it. And definitely for someone that does it probably most often. I compare many comedy shows every year, Muslim comedy shows. I did, Muslim panels that I wrote Sinda Alia, I wrote Beauty and the Bala. We sold out.
Beauty and Balaya.
Beauty and the Bala, yeah.
The Bala.
And the Bala. Do you know what Bala is?
Like a ghost?
Like a monster, yes. Monster, yeah. So obviously it plays on the classic Cinderella and the Beauty and the Beast. And when I first pitched these two ideas, a lot of people were like, neither. Use the what's this nonsense? Just sell. You sell out fast.
And you are the brains behind it.
And I believed in myself that I would do it, but let me tell you what I have to do. I have to write a script. I have to make it funny for Muslims. That's hard. I have to make it relatable. I have to do it in a very tight budget. I have to make it sustainable in terms of making money for charities, and because if I'm doing it, it has to be a sadaqah part of it. So I have to give a lot. I have to cast everyone. So I have to produce it as well. I have to cast all the actors. Many who are new, I have to train them, I have to coach them, I have to direct, I have to perform in it. I work with certain companies or whatever on all the logistics of it. It is. People don't understand how it kills you. It kills you. It's such a hard job, and people think we just turn up and perform. It's a 9-month project. After starting 9 months, doing this, and we sell out. And it's come to a point where I announced this year that I'm not doing it this year. So I'm having 1 year off. For fun, concentrate on my family this year. My daughter's starting a new school. I just want to be. And people are like, oh no, but this is our yearly thing now, because I've done it for 2 years. That's the standard daily thing. Where are we going to take our kids to now? We don't want to go to normal panels, but there is a space because people want to do something during the holiday seasons and stuff, and they're at home. And there's a charity part to it where people feel like they're giving back, and there's also a Islamic value part of it. There's some bits that I need to improve on because they're not exactly that compatible. It's not in terms of there's a few jokes that go into Bollywood songs. It's just something that I'm cutting out. But there was a space for it. I mean, over the 2 years, I've raised millions. I like to think of myself as a humanitarian. I've been out and seen people. I like to do my bit. There's just a big space for it, and I want to carry on doing it after this year. But it's a tough job, so it's really, really difficult. But there's 100% of space in it, and I love giving new people a chance because people, there's a young girl, and she wanted to perform and stuff, but her family were like, and I was able to meet the family, gain their trust. I'd take her on this kind of in a safe space to be able to do a talent where, there's places for her to play a salah. She can wear her hijab, she can, cover herself properly. She can perform, she can be protected from anything. I'm one of those people that used to say to everyone, the whole time, like that. I would never force it. I'd go pray, but I'd make the announcement and we'd pray. And people who did pray before, alhamdulillah, they were doing Jamaat with me. And that's an important part of what I do. And giving young people an opportunity to see their talents as well is important, because we need to take hold of the art space as well, because we have stories to tell, and I think we need that opportunity.
And I was just going to say that for the viewers who are listening, that you see one side and one dimension to a person on TikTok or wherever on the screen. Let's say that screen is in loads of different places, but you don't know how that person is. And I know that Abdullah's going to hate me for saying it is, but it's not about him. But listening to him, that mashallah, he did salah, and he allows, or he encourages, or he wants, the people who he's working with to read their salah during that time for them to wear their hijab. That is really, honestly, like really heartwarming to me to hear that as a woman, and then knowing that we've got young girls and you're going to protect them. That really, honestly, inshallah, and I thought that can continue that. And I'm going to ask,
Sorry, I was just going to add to that. One of the ways I did that to protect them was because men can say whatever they want. You can't just a lot.
Yeah, those conversations.
Yes. What I did was, on the tour, I had to make it feel like a family. That was a huge part of it. So I hired a makeup artist, a professional makeup artist as well. She was my wife. So my wife and my kids went with me on this tour. And then you have the young actresses, 2021, playing my daughter, 4-year-old daughter, and my son, 7-year-old son. And it just felt safe, protected. And I think it's important because there's certain things. I'm the director, I'm the producer, I'm the writer. If they've got any issues, if they have to come to me. As a young girl, there's certain issues that neither they always want to be, want to have that conversation. So my wife was there as that go-between, which is also an important thing for them to have. And I think it's something that people underestimate because it's hard. I try to understand being a dad of a daughter now. I try to understand the struggles of young women and females, and I feel uncomfortable around them at times because I know what other men are like, and I think I don't want them to think I'm anything like that. So I have to really. The best thing is not to over exaggerate. I know what it's like. No, you can't. In the opposite, in my opinion, the step back. Someone else can do that job. You know what I mean? And I think that was important doing. And we did it for 3 years. And I'd like to think that they'd appreciate it. I think it was annoying for them at times because they wanted to concentrate on the line. And I want my daughter going up to them and say, let's play.
Yeah.
So that part's a bit annoying, but I think it's an important way to feel. If you feel like you're just at home performing in front of your aunties and uncle, it's just a lot more comfortable for you, I think.
Alhamdulillah. It's really been interesting chatting to you and getting to know about your life. So thank you very much for giving me your time today.
Yeah.
And so if anyone's really interested in performing, how can they get in touch with you?
And my Instagram DMs, I don't think there's been any person that I've not replied to ever.
All right, that's good at replying to people.
I do my best. My missus sometimes says to me, well, it's just such a weird message. Why are you replying to it? I have issues. I have genuine issues, but I can't. I find it hard to say no. Please don't ask me weird things, but I find it hard to say no to people.
Maybe they should send any messages to your wife so she can handle it?
No, because she doesn't want anyone to know who she is. That's another part of it. She hates the attention and stuff.
Yeah.
When we first got married, we'd be sat having dinner and someone would come over and say, oh, does Shazia know about her? On the sizzling. Yeah. What the heck is this? Do you know what I mean? I'd be like, it was difficult, but yeah, no, I replied to my messages, and most of the people I've casted in my past pantomime, they come through to via DMs on Twitter or Instagram and things like that, and I've given them a chance. And also I go to a lot of shows, busting shows that are not different charities. They do like Nasheed nights or whatever. I go watch and I see if there's people who are good and I'm not really discovered yet. And I go and I reach out to them and say, would you like to do something?
So you can search for talent when you're out and about as well?
Yeah, I'm always looking for a talent, yeah. And I find people that are better than me all the time. You know what I mean? So that's a bit hard to deal with.
So thank you so much for your time, Jazakallah khair. And if you want to get in touch with Abdullah, his Instagram handle, we will put it in the chat bar or something. So just like, hey, no.
Cha-cha-chai. So I don't know if I'm supposed to do that.